to Let's Talk About It. Broadcasting live from North Nashville, Tennessee. North Nashville spans from Metro Center down to the border of Bicentennial Mall, including the neighborhoods of Bordeaux, Buena Vista, Parkwood Estates, Germantown, Haynes Manor, Jefferson Street, Fisk Park, Cumberland Gardens, Oak Valley, Enchanted Hill, and many others. It's perhaps best known for the 3 universities housed here, including Tennessee State University, Fisk University, and Meharry Medical College. North Nashville is also home to the Tennessee Titans practice facility. The Tennessee Titans will begin construction on an expansion project at St. Thomas Sports Park, which will almost double its current footprint in Nashville's Metro Center neighborhood. The plan includes 60,000 square feet in additions, including a new building situated along one of the practice fields, and major renovation of spaces within the existing 75,000 square foot building.
Now live from North Nashville, Dr. William Head. Let's talk about it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to NorthNashvilleTV.com, the voice of the voiceless. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. I don't know whether you've noticed or not, but we've been hampered in our efforts to get the word out of late because life has happened to us. The brains of the situation went through a health scare that we hope is behind us, and funds are still funny, but God blesses those who persevere. First of all, something good. Fifth Third Bank announced last week a $20 million investment in North Nashville, zip code 37208. It is amazing that we find that there are some people who are still civic-minded and fair-minded enough to see the debacle that is happening in the great state of Tennessee. I said Tennessee. And first half is Tennessee, the second half is, of course, Mississippi. Tomorrow is Independence Day with its patriotic platitudes, flag waving, fireworks, while the shiggity hole state of Tennessee, the effort to bring a WNBA team franchise to Nashville, BNA, has been quashed for the moment. Of course, they'll get another chance to bid on it. But could the reason be that the state ranks 50th in the country for maternal deaths of mothers in the process of giving birth? Or maybe these women choose not to bring their children to a state that is killing its public school system, or maybe the expulsion of 2 young black state legislators for doing their job while the single white female in the situation was saved from being expelled. With the principal participants in the league, think they see that? Maybe it's the idiotic lack of common sense gun control that makes 2 cities, one being Nashville, listed as dangerous. Could it be? Could it be the wall-eyed need to control everyone's life while cuddling up to the privileged who run down 77-year-old women in the street and are not charged with anything? Maybe. Maybe black Nashville's north side being neglected and the public hospital's existence in question. Could it be? Could it be the $2.1 billion deficit in discriminatory funding for the state's only HBCU creates a question of equity, fairness? Maybe. Maybe it's the dogmatic leadership of our governor, Uncle Billy, that sours the milk with the smell of racism, sexism, homophobia, and adds classism, elitism, and white supremacy to its role of in the country. Do you really want to come to Nashville if you're a same-sex loving 6'5" black woman with a 6'2" white wife and 2 male children to raise? Yes, these things drive business away because their owners don't want the drama and confusion it pretends, along with the economic instability it creates. Could it be Nashville's lousy history of handling black professional athletes, being stalked and harassed by a local cop, the only Super Bowl quarterback in franchise history being dismissed by a rent-a-cop at the gate, not allowed to go into the offices that he has represented? Could it be that? Could it be the racist attitudes in this city? And Nashville is the best city in the state for race relations. It's amazing just how stupid all of this sounds, but it's the truth. I don't believe you. Well, hell, don't believe me. It's the truth, whether you believe it or not. The unsolved murder of Steve McNair. Is it the McNair jinx? Are people afraid to come to Nashville as pro athletes because they've seen how pro athletes in this city have been treated? Could be. Could be. Could be. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Are you looking for a pediatric dentist who can provide the best possible care for your child or children? At Smiley Dental Associates, we understand the importance of providing access to quality dental care. Our team of experienced and certified specialists is committed to providing an exceptional service that is tailored to meet the needs of each individual patient. We prioritize your child's comfort, safety, and education to ensure that your child will receive the highest standard of oral health care. With a focus on prevention and early detection, we use the latest technology and techniques to ensure your child or children will receive the highest quality of care. Our team is dedicated to building trusting relationships with our patients, so you can rest assured that your child or children are in good hands. Call us at 615-321-5600, that's 615-321-5600, or visit us at 2026 Clifton Avenue North, Nashville, Tennessee, 37203. Or schedule an appointment today and witness the Smiley Dental difference.
Hello, my name is Glenn Carter. I'm the owner here at Carter's Family Florist. We've been serving all over Nashville and Middle Tennessee for the last 25 years. We do flowers for all occasions. We do weddings, funerals. We send flowers out of town and have a host of plants, cassandra for the prom, a dozen roses at Valentine, a dozen roses for Mother's Day. We do balloons, fruit baskets, and things of that nature, and we do deliver. So always come to Carter's Family Florist when you're in need of your flower needs. Address is 1822 26th Avenue North. That's Nashville, Tennessee, 37208. My phone number is 615-256-3777. Thank you for choosing Carter's Family Florist.
The fried fish sandwich is soul food at its finest. Ed's Fish and Pizza has perfected this soul food tradition. Ed's Fish and Pizza has 50 years of experience serving it up. Ed's fried fish sandwich contains 2 pieces of whiting, often totaling 1 pound, crisp fried in cornmeal coating, spritzed with hot sauce, gently slathered with mustard, white onion slices, and dill pickles, placed between 2 slices of white bread.
Hello, my name is Anthony Williams. I am the new owner of Ed's Fish and Pizza. I am a 3rd generation family member. It was passed down to me from my grandfather, Anthony Drumright. Our business has been here for 49 and a half years, and we look forward to serving the Nashville community for 49 more years.
Today we have with us my good friend, Brother William Robinson Jr. William, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, Fran. Less, more than I deserve.
I called you last week to ask you the question as to what Independence Day means to people of color. Let me go down a little list that we can expand on over the next 30, 40 minutes. What does Independence Day mean to people of color? 147 years of slavery, 150 years of Jim Crow laws, discrimination in employment, education, business, finance, housing, military service, veterans benefits, health care, ownership of property, inclusive of redlining and exclusions, participation in the civic discourse, we have none, boards, commissions, licensing boards, zoning committees, are not inclusive of all the citizens of the city of Nashville, not to mention the rest of the state. We are by far the most liberal city in the state, but we are also one of the most racist cities in the state. You look at the greatest industry in the city, country music, who refuses to recognize one of the greatest musical talents on earth, Miss Beyonce, because she ain't country enough. She grew up in Texas, where country ain't country, I guess, or maybe colored ain't country. How about that, William?
It's ironic, but it is what it is. Nashville per se, I love Nashville. I'm native Nashvilleian, and I think Nashville is more metropolitan than most of the cities here in Tennessee. I think it's more liberal. You got people coming from the north. They're more liberal-minded. I think, for the most part, between Nashville and Memphis, and I guess Chattanooga, and maybe some parts of Knoxville, that these are the most liberal people, and I like that. But like you said, there are vestiges and traces of racism in Nashville. It's that we trying to erase. But I think talking about it makes it better. Once you're able to talk about the problems, whatever, we're in a better position to go forward and correct these problems.
Uh, Moving forward in a city that has more black representation than any city in the state in metro government, uh, judges, district representatives, etc., etc., etc. It is amazing just how pervasive uh, unseen racism is. Right now, we are suffering with gentrification that threatens to push folks who've been in neighborhoods for generations, not just moving in, and then we have to adjust for the new neighbors. Uh, where are you? We talked about housing the last time you were on, and as we see the progression of the cost of housing in this city, it has become just absolutely crazy.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems we have when people talk about housing, affordable housing, what's affordable housing to? Affordable housing is different to different people, you know. And evidently, I don't think Nashville is good for people moving into the city, making, let's say, six figures, whatever. But if you're not making six figures, it's really kind of hard to see how people making less than six figures are making in Nashville. I assume that most people, young people move to Nashville, they have roommates. That's the only thing I can think of. Roommates, and maybe they have some high-paying jobs. Maybe they are high-paying jobs that I'm aware of. But Nashville, housing for people that live here that want to stay here, it's kind of hard. For first-time home buyers trying to buy a home here in Nashville, I don't think you can get a home in Nashville for under half a million, 510,000, $100,000. I mean, that's just the reality of it. But evidently, and the way they building, evidently, it must be a lot of people coming in. They don't see the ceiling falling. Evidently, that they must know something I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say. They must know something I don't know because they are truly building in Nashville. Living here in Nashville, if you go around every month, just riding around, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. So, but for a young person, I be trying to get to Nashville. Nashville offers so many amenities. It's sports. We got everything but a basketball team. As far as education, like I said, we got 26 plus educational facilities in Middle Tennessee. We have all kinds of recreation, concerts. Everybody come here to record. It's a clean city, but it has its problems in terms of. I think one of our biggest problems is outside legislators trying to control Nashville. To me, personally, I think that when you get outside legislators from these rural counties and stuff trying to legislate what goes on in Nashville, and they bring some of their unpopular views here. I was go as far as say racist views here, and that's not what Nashville's about, in my opinion. I told you Nashville, for the most part, I love it because it's more liberal. The people I meet, most of the friendly people, whatever, are from up north. And I guess the only vestiges of racism and stuff is from some of the southern people in this area that are home-fed, homebred southerners. And that's my take on it.
As I got a little bit off the subject talking about housing, but as we find ourselves as people of color, black, brown, red people specifically, the atrocities that have been perpetrated against black folks, the atrocities that have been perpetrated against red folk, and the atrocities that have ramped up so much this since January on brown folks who are being herded into prisons and sent to places they've never been. This is getting to be extremely heavy to deal with.
Well, one thing I think that we can help remedy this problem is our representation. I think we cannot afford not to vote. Some people think of the presidential election. No, you got to look at these local elections. And when you look at the clientele, what's happening, whatever, it affects you. You cannot sit back and say, well, I'm not going to vote. It doesn't affect me or whatever. It does affect you. And your vote does make a difference. I think that's the only way we're going to change the things we don't like happening here in cities like Nashville or other cities throughout the United States is we must vote. We cannot afford not to vote. This climate, this negative, toxic climate that is existing is because a lot of people didn't vote, And a lot of people, they don't understand the importance of voting. We must start voting. We cannot afford not to, So those people who talk about not voting, whatever, we got to get to them. They can't. They're living in, I guess, under a rock. They just don't understand the realities of whether they vote or not. The things that are happening affects them, and they got to realize that they can make a difference. When you look at the climate of this country, it's unreal. It is totally unreal, and I don't know about you, but I never thought it would come to this. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Because right now it's not making sense in terms of what's happening in terms of the average working person not being able to get ahead or whatever. The lack of empathy for those with less. That's the biggest problem for me. I mean, we supposed to be a Christian nation. We profess to be a Christian nation. But where's the empathy? And it's basically, I have to look at Christians. We would make a lot of the Christians, the main ones who don't want to me, don't seem to want others to have anything more than what they have. And they have very little empathy. They're very judgmental, and they don't force you to believe what they want to or whatever, or either cancel you or whatever. It's got to the point where we just got to sit back here, come to the table, and listen to each other and talk and try to reach some type of compromise.
One of the observations I was mulling the other day is that the effort to push Christianity out of the light by folks who would rather worship a man who has no beliefs, a man who has nothing that he believes in other than profit. And I think of all these people who, when this big, beautiful bill gets passed, 70 million people in the United States of America will lose health coverage over the next 10 years. 70 million people. 20% of those will be people of color. 80% will be white folks who are having difficulties in their lives to meet the needs of their families. So it boggles my mind that all of these people who watch their benefits being stolen from them by these nickel and dime politicians who think they're doing something. I don't know. They must know what they're doing because they're doing it and they're getting paid to do it. But they are killing people off who voted for the man that's in office. So I'm puzzled, I'm puzzled as to where this is going. The evangelical Christians who were staunch supporters of the president have not been mentioned one time that I know of since he's been in office. And they were the people who were pushing for his election. What is he going to do about all those people who are going to lose health coverage? What's he going to do about all those people who are losing jobs because of the cuts in all of the different budgets in the federal government? All the people who are losing jobs and revenue. Who's going to buy these houses that are being built by the dozen? Who's going to move in these luxury apartments given the price of them if they don't have jobs? And the craziest thing I ever heard was that that man Rust or Fust or whatever his name was cut out all those people in the federal government who were able to buy his product, which means he cut deeply into his profits.
He really did.
So, what do you think? Where do you think this is going when you start sticking your finger in the socket that you're producing?
Well, we know where it's going. I mean, if you got eyes and ears and you can see, and you're a realist, this common sense, dictates where it's going. First of all, we got to admit those people voted for this president of this administration. They got to realize they made a mistake. Hey, they were bamboozled. Look, just admit you were wrong. Okay, you run them up. Just admit. They have to admit they're wrong. Get rid of that ego or whatever. Admit that you're wrong. This man, until you wake up and realize, okay, we got to work together to counteract this, because the race is going there. It's spiraling out of control, and we have got to get together, talk. Like I said, I was wrong or whatever. What can we do going forward to correct this? Because this is our country. Whether you like it or not, this is everybody's country. We got to work together to make it the best country it can be. The way it's going now, it's not a good optic at all. Okay, and so at this point now, like I said, first of all, those people who supported him are still trying to support him. They got to come to realization. Hey, I'm wrong or whatever. I need to reevaluate this and work in the best interest of all Americans. Okay, this man he made racism, division. He made it popular. He opened up the door. And you were saying earlier about evangelical Christians. You need to look at your moral compass. Now, I can't personally understand how you can consider yourself a Christian with a moral compass and embrace this man. Okay, I really can't. For whatever reason, maybe it's you put money more above God or whatever, values, whatever. I don't know, but personally, I don't see it. But in the long run, we have got to get together. We have to come, regardless of how you voted in the past or how you feel. We got to come together, mobilize, and get rid of this cancer. Get rid of this cancer. It's toxic. It's killing this nation, and history's going to tell the story. Were you part of trying to maintain this freedom, democracy we have, or were you part of destroying it? See, all these American Republicans and stuff who support this man, you would remember the history. Okay, well, you're on the right side of history or whatever. It's all, your children, your grandkids. Oh, They must sit there and wonder why you supported this man or whatever. Why did you want a part of destroying the democracy, freedom, and independence that this country had? Okay, because that's where it's going there. We are independence. Is almost a joke. It's an oxymoron. It is. This independence and freedom we talking about, democracy we talking about. I don't see it. It's disappearing. We literally give it away. We're not even, a lot of us are not even fighting for it. Don't get me wrong, there's a handful of people out there fighting, whatever. But we got enough good people in this country to turn this around. I truly believe. Maybe I'm a fool, whatever, but I believe there's enough good people in this country that can work together and mobilize and turn this around. I really do.
I would have to agree with you, because if I don't agree with you, it says that I'm giving up, and I'm certainly not going to give up on what this country has meant for the last its entire history. It has a very terrible underbelly that the Republicans are trying to hide by doing away with history books, trying to keep young people from learning about the atrocities that were heaped upon the red man in this country when white folks first hit the eastern seaboard and came into the country. There were millions upon millions of red folk who lived here already and who helped them to survive through a hellacious winter, to come out in the spring and be able to live, to be shot down, poisoned, diseased, almost out of existence. So it's just amazing that there are people in this country who want to say, no, we didn't do that, when obviously you celebrate a holiday in Thanksgiving where the white settlers were thanking the Indians for helping them, indigenous people, for helping them through the winter, and then turned around and shot and killed them. That just is a history that is so terrible that the people who heap this on the red man now want to say, well, we didn't do it, but your parents did, and your grandparents, and your great-grandparents, and your great-great-grandparents. It is an atrocity on the part of all these revisionist historians who want to try to clean the story up. When you know that the indigenous people in the Southwest were starved out of existence by the white settlers killing buffalo for nothing but their heads and their horns. Well, who does that? And we know exactly who did it. But there's a move afoot to remove that from history. Well, that was then, this is now. But then is why we are where we are now.
Well, the main thing that hurts me is this movement to erase Black history, to remove the greatness and accomplishments of people that look like me and other minorities. This is my country too. I'm not going anywhere. I love this country more than anybody else. I'm not going anywhere. I want to be loved, accepted, and respected by this country, but I can't make this country respect me and love me. And I guess I'm speaking the sentiments of most African Americans. We want this country to love and respect us, but you're short us like you feel about us, okay? Remove our Black history, get rid of CRT, get rid of DEI, banning books that honor us and our achievements and accomplishments. You're telling us how you feel about us. Unfortunately, and but don't be wrong, this is not a monolithic country. There are some uh, people white people who who are against all this, but for the most part, it's going to take good white people talking to other white people to change things. Okay, it's going to take you talking to your cousins and your uncles and your grandmamas and relatives or whatever to change things. That's what it's going to take. Okay, and like I said earlier, I would like to believe there's enough good white people in this country that can work together and change things. Okay, and that's my belief, and that's just my personal belief. But this tomorrow is supposed to be 4th of July, Independence Day. Now, how am I supposed to feel as an African American knowing that on the 4th of July, that my relatives and ancestors was enslaved? Okay, this is the day this is the day that's declaring freedom from the tyranny of Brittany and freedom and independence that my people didn't have. Okay, but historically, we have celebrated that day, whatever, because and nothing else is a paid holiday. Because my day for freedom and independence was Juneteenth. As an African American, okay, I felt liberated. I felt a sense of liberation and freedom as an American Juneteenth. Now, I will celebrate, and most black folks will take part in trying to celebrate the 4th of July. But for the most part, a lot of people, a group of blacks, are saying that we should not celebrate 4th of July or whatever. But I'm trying to be harmonious with this country as far as we all Americans, whatever, blah, blah. But in reality, the truth of the matter was that really we have no, we were slaves. The 4th of July is not our Independence Day. It's not our day of freedom or reckoning, whatever. It's a day, if you want to know the truth. Now, some of you don't want to know the truth, whatever. Don't want to teach the truth, whatever. But you can't change history. History, Black history is American history. Okay, it's history. And I'm a firm believer. Once you learn about history, good, bad, and different, you sit it down and you talk about it, and you take the good and the bad, and you say, well, if you don't learn from history, you're bound to repeat it. So going forward, I don't say how you go forward without looking at the past. I really don't. I don't know how you could dismiss the past when you make decisions going forward. If you want to better this country, we made mistakes. This country is atrocious when you look at heinous when you look at the history of how this country has treated people of color, African Americans. It's horrible, but it happened. And if we're gonna go forward, we got to sit at the table and address these iniquities, make amends if possible, and then make positive decisions going forward. But until America recognizes its sins and address them, we'll never be the country we're supposed to be. We'll never be the country we're supposed to be. Okay, we got to address our ills and make amends before we can go forward. Until we do that, we're just spinning our wheels.
I will say amen to that sermon. One of the advent of the executive orders since the new administration started in January included things that killed DEI and funds for young black people to go to college. The governor of this state limited Tennessee State University's enrollment to, I think, 4,500. So now, rather than close it, he just cuts off part of what makes it grow. There's not a school in the country that would not have loved to have had the problem that Tennessee State had last fall. They had more students than they had room for. Every president in the country wants to see his or her enrollment become more than what they have room for. because each student brings money, federal money. And now that we've got the new administration, the question of where is money coming from for youngsters to go to college? We'll just hire anybody. Look at the gentleman that is the head of the military. He has absolutely no qualifications for the job. He has no education for the job, but he's got the job. He is as the president would say, a sucker, and what's the other word he used to describe military folk? And military folk voted for
A
this
loser.
man. Huh?
He called military
Suckers and losers. And there are women in this country who now cannot do some things that they did routinely in their lives, who voted for this man. It makes no sense that people don't vote for their own interests. And as you said a few minutes ago, until we vote in numbers, we've got a problem. We are sitting back waiting for the execution only because we won't get up and go vote. Period. We've got to, in this state, to start with, reduce this Republican majority in the General Assembly of the state of Tennessee. Otherwise, everybody that's not a white man will be eating dirt and begging for more. It is ridiculous as to what this General Assembly and governor have done to the poor people in this state, while loading up all the richer people in the state with whatever they need. You need some money to send your child to a private school? Well, we'll just give everybody some money. That way we'll buy all them folks off so they'll get $7,000 for a child who can never be able to go to one of these private schools because you ain't got but $7,000. So it just, no, I can't use that word. It's a catch 22. And the people who are in control, like you said a moment ago, have no empathy, have no Christian ethics whatsoever, and are operating based on the fact that the man with the most toys, when he dies, it wins. Never seen a toy in a funeral procession. All of the stuff that you accumulate on this side, never seen a U-Haul in a funeral procession.
I have yet to see it too.
I've never seen an armored truck in a funeral procession. But it is what it is. William, if you had one last thing to say, what would it be?
My last thing to say is, as an African American, I'm constantly being slapped in the face.
Don't restrain yourself unless there's some reason on your end.
I personally feel that African Americans feel slapped in the face at taking away our history, taking away our gains and achievements as people, all in our face, And like tomorrow is supposed to be the 4th of July, Independence Day. It's the epitome of hypocrisy for a person of color. I mean, this country basically is taking away everything. This country is telling us how they feel about me as a black person. Okay, for the most part, I don't like it, and it's got to change. Okay, I don't like it. It's got to change. Be careful what you ask for. You may just get. Then you figure that out. Okay, you want to divorce African Americans, for the most part. Be careful what you ask for. Excuse me. Now you figure it out. You figure it out.
Well, we thank you for your participation today, and we'll be back with you the next time we get a chance. All right.
All right, and let's keep hope alive.
Thank you much.
Let's keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive.
That's it. We got to keep it alive.
All right. I've got a little message for Fisk alumni and the demise of the Fisk University gymnastics program. At its inception, Frank Simmons of the Fisk University Board of Trustees, the man who was the father of the idea of the gymnastics program, and board chair Frank Sims were the pushers or the movers and shakers who pushed the idea that turned into the most electrifying piece of fortune since the Jubilee Singers went to Europe to sing. But like the university's board in the late 60s, who saw great promise in an escalated athletic program, they had no method to ensure how this investment was going to be recouped. Thus, a financial crisis ensued because of a lack of management and expertise to make the success pay off. Fast forward to today. The experiment exploded in more positive PR than could ever be paid for by the university. But then the board got embroiled in meddling in everyday administration of the university at the most important part of the year, the opening of classes and the beginning of the school year, which culminated in the firing of an experienced, able, knowledgeable, HBCU experienced president. The university, now rudderless, entered the semester with an interim president, former board chair Frank Sims, at the helm. Mr. Sims quickly, Monday after his appointment, signed the document that the previous president would not sign and promptly disappeared like dust in the wind, leaving God's Lady Fisk University rudderless and free-floating in the successful enrollment increase created by the previous administration, while all the drama at the top was raging. The gymnastics team was flourishing, with only the coach and AD, one and the same person, as its curator. And flourish the young ladies did to the delight of all HBCU enthusiasts all over the country. From that point until March, they were the toast of HBCU sports, appearing widely on the internet, in print, printed periodicals, in discussions and interviews, far and wide. Miss Morgan Price then won a national title, which everyone assumed would bring money to the university, but did not. I'll explain this by saying Fisk University is not an NCAA member institution, number one. Number two, they participate in the NAIA. The NAIA has no gymnastics specific program or championships, so they were working in at the national level from the very first. So it was not a small time situation. What they walked into was a big time situation with big time talent and a coach who did a heck of a job. What it did do was give great positive visibility to Fisk University. Problem is, there was no marketing expertise or management experience on the administrative staff to turn great publicity into opportunities to make Fisk some money. By the way, Dr. Van Newkirk is now the president at Wilberforce University in Ohio, and he has started a gymnastics program there and is considering starting a football program, which we lost back in 1982, with a stadium set up that he bought from Fisk University. A stadium set up that he had bought for Fisk University before he was unceremoniously dismissed. We were at a point at which we needed to strike while the iron was hot, and the fruit was ripe and sweet for the picking. But had and still do not have anybody of that ilk on the campus. At that point, there were a number of imperatives for making an ask broadly for support. The alumni that I know of was never asked to make contributions to the support of the ongoing situation with gymnastics. I know I usually get all the mailing when they ask for something. Would have been happy to make a donation if I was asked, which to date, 7/3/25 has not come. The expertise in PR and promoting the athletic program of the university is very sparse, almost non-existent. In March, the coach walked away because her two supporters, Sims and Simmons, had walked away, leaving the OJT fledgling administration in a shiggity hole not of their making. But like everything else, it falls to the person in charge. You want the gymnastics team to survive? Send money and monitor and press for answers instead of sitting back waiting for somebody to answer your unasked question. The communique produced by the university recently said it came down to the program not protecting the student athletes, and I don't understand what they mean there. Lack of funds, I understand. They knew that when they started. So there should have been some backstop that kept the program going, but there was none. The administration said they did due diligence. I'm sure they did, and came up with they were concerned about the well-being of the student athlete. Challenges of no conference affiliation. Fisk was the first HBCU to have gymnastics and do a great job of it. What we need a conference for? And what conference is there that is a gymnastics conference? We don't have enough money to be a division institution, so we're not going to get into the SEC. That is not going to happen. We had free reign, control of the market. We were the only one in the market. So now we need a conference. Pardon me. Pass me by with that. That was not anything that I would have thought of. The problem was we didn't have any marketing expertise that would put someone on the job who could turn all of this positive energy into something that helped the university. Our image went way up. What would you think about an arena or gymnasium in your home state or in your hometown with and you hear the melody of Black Pearl, Pretty Little Girl, let me put you up where you belong, and out walks the blue and gold clad gymnast from Fisk University to do a demonstration and a clinic for all young ladies that wanted to participate. Of course, at a cost. And selling tickets. How much money would you make? You didn't make any money at home because you didn't have a facility, and you paid more for rent than you could justify at Belmont. Can you think about the Jubilee gymnast? I can.
I can too.
You have been listening to Let's Talk About It on NorthNashvilleTV.com. God bless. Keep the faith.